Welcome to another webinar in the Compass Retail Advanced series. This one is going to be focused on NAV 101, interface and ribbon, and will extend users the familiarity that the general interface and the layout of the screen or the software will be when they first launch NAV. My name is Hani Kadri, and this presentation is going to be approximately 10 minutes, and we'll focus on the interface, the ribbons, the menu, and the list. And for those that are coming from older versions of NAV, this will be equally as important because the layout has quite changed from the classic version to what's called now the role-tailored RTC version for NAV 2015. I will be launching NAV. And this landing page that you see on screen right now, this is your basic landing page. I am actually right now in a demo company called Retail Template, which is displayed up here. I will be going through what the basic sections of the screen are and how this will differ per person by role based on what your management and Compass affinity we decide to give. So the overall launch screen per person once you are live may be altered depending on what the managers in your organization want you to see. At the most basic level, there are a few sections on screen. The first one I would like to point out are the back and forward buttons, along with a list of recent places where you've been. So I can click into this, and I have last been to vendors, so I can click on that to get there. There is the address bar, which you can actually click on and right-click and copy, and you can email each other sort of that I'm at this sub-menu. There is a search functionality, which is great, and it's a great addition. So I'm just typed in VEN and I got vendors. So if you don't really know where things are in the menu, you can now type it in and you have an option of clicking on an actual icon towards the left of the search menu that pops up or towards the right. The difference between the left and the right is that the left will take you directly to the page that you click on. For example, vendor trial balance is an actual report and it's denoted by an icon of a report. We'll get to that in further webinars. Or the right side of this will actually take you to the area. By clicking in this, it will actually take you to the link of the area where that report is stored. So you don't actually launch the report. You can see the set of reports that go along with vendor trial balance. The next is the Dynamics application menu, as they call. This is your core menu. So you have options of setting the work date, the language, selecting the server and company. These will be given to you by Affinity and Compass and will be set for a test in a live database. This will be provided to you via an email once you actually get access how to launch NAV. Obviously, customize, help, and exit are as usual options. Exiting NAV is the same thing as clicking on the red X in the top right, which is not visible right now on screen due to my limited real estate while doing the webinar. Next, I wanted to discuss about is the ribbon, which this is similar to the Metro or Windows 8, Windows 10 interface. Everything is now in terms of colors and icons and sizing. It's going in terms of the same way as Microsoft Office family and the Microsoft overall core look towards more clearer and sharper icons. So for example, if I'm on the vendor list and I'll click into here, my ribbon will change. I will get tabs for home, actions, navigate, and report. On actions, I will also see sections, subgroups. You can call it a ribbon submenu where it says new documents. So for example, I could launch all these kinds of documents or AP related documents. There are general. So there are no submenus in a ribbon. Next, I will go back to home and hit Role Center to take me back to the main screen. Next, I want to talk about the buttons that appear on the menu from home all the way down to departments. So again, this is based on your Role Center that you launch into. For the purpose of this webinar and most go lives that we will be doing through Compass and NAV 2015, we will be basically setting you up with the retail role center, which is clicked right here. So the retail role center has been programmed and designed to actually give you everything you see on screen, from home all the way down to departments. So home and departments are your two universal buttons that you will get on role centers if somebody, even if another role center is assigned to you. Journals, fixed assets, posted documents, all the way down to Compass. These have been specifically added for retail role center. Along with the right side of the screen where it shows stats, activities, and again, this is scrollable. Due to my real estate, I can't really scroll. And there's a weather section. Again, the shortcuts to the top left that you see, role center, chart of accounts, vendor, purchase orders, budgets. These again are also based on the programming of the button. So the home are your shortcuts. For example, if I click on Compass, you will see the shortcuts that we tell our clients. Obviously, you will be in this menu the most, which we would like you to do POS sales orders, credit memos. You can do blends. You can do booking orders. So I'm going to go back to the home button. And on the right side, as mentioned, you will see the shortcuts that have been designed behind the home button. The next thing I wanted to show is the departments menu button. And along with this, the right side of the screen will be reflective of the detail menu, and the left side, on the top left side, will become the standard menu that those of you that are coming from Classic or NAV 2009 will be more used to seeing, where it has departments, financial management, sales and marketing, down to Compass. Again, if you go into Compass, you will see sales, purchase, and report, which is the same thing as going to any of these hyperlinks over here. Next thing I wanted to discuss is how the basic, when you click into a link of a page, as they're called now, forms are out from RTC versions of 2013 onwards. So the new layout, when you click actually onto a link, for example, I will go back to my vendors. You will be seeing the list of vendors first. So those of you that are new to NAV, this will be when you click on a link, for example, for chart of accounts, for customers, for vendors, for open sales orders, for posted invoices. If you go through posted documents, you will be first brought upon a list of open or closed documents that you need to be seeing. For example, in the vendors, these are vendor cards that are sorted in a list, and you can then from the list double click into, for example, Acme Company, and hit it, double click it to open up the card, or hit edit, or view will open it out in a read-only mode. So those of you that are coming from 2009, you'll be used to clicking on vendors and the last record you were on would have opened up. Then you would have had to go to the list. It has actually been flipped now from the core Microsoft logic where the list comes before the card. The next thing I wanted to show is the fact boxes. So as your, which are these blue boxes on the right, and you can scroll up and down in the list. In my test company, I have a short vendor list. Otherwise, this is typically a very long list. So the vendor stats, the BIFA vendor history, some links and notes we'll discuss in upcoming webinars. These will change, the values in these fact boxes will change as I'm scrolling through. So as you can see, I'm now on 123 company. I can be on pay to vendor, and they have a $25,000 total balance that we owe them. Ledger entries are now right here, so you can click on pay to vendor and click on ledger entries, which is the same thing as going into the balance and click and getting the open ledger entries. Those will be dealt with in AP, and the differences between ledger entries and each subledger will be discussed in a further webinar because this is a more introductory of a layout webinar. Hitting edit or double clicking into the pay to vendor will open up the vendor card. Again, this has been a sort of a little bit of a shift, not in terms of the fields that have been there from day one, going back to NAV 2009, except the layout has sort of now become more horizontal and vertically tiled, as opposed to being tabs across the top, for those of you who are familiar with the older versions. So now there's general, communication, invoicing, and you basically just click and the section will expand. The tabs, the fields are all the same. Again, the fact boxes in a card, because now you're a lower level than the list, these fact boxes will be static because you're on one record. So you're on right now vendor 0008, and the person is called paid vendor in this test company. Stay tuned for the next webinar in the NAV 101 series, and I will be discussing filters, sorting, exporting to Excel, and report preview for the layout and for those changes that have happened since the older versions of NAV and how they are done in NAV 2015. If you have any other questions regarding this webinar, please feel free to contact us at the attached numbers. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.